Hello, you sweet creatures. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical Podcast. And this is your reading for the month of March, your energy reading for the numerology and the tarot of March 2024. Number 3, the Empress. Beautiful, seductive, creative, generative possibility of the Empress. Meet number 11, Justice. The clear-eyed, calm, balanced capacity of justice. These two energies are not necessarily at home with each other. There's definitely a push-pull between the two. When I first did the numerology, I was like, Empress, hey, my girl. Okay, Justice, you can come too. But as I sat with it over the last week and a half, it's more like, Justice, can you help me stay safe at this wild party that the Empress is throwing? They're both important. And if you can integrate, if you can access both of these medicines, both of these energies this month, you can create some incredible stuff, like some incredible creative projects, amazing art, amazing experiences, blissful moments. Really align yourself with energies and life that are going to bring you great joy and great abundance and great satisfaction. Like it's really, the potential here is incredible. There's an equal potential though for burnout, and there's an equal potential for scattering your energy. There's just so much energy in March, so much energy. You really want to prioritize yourself. And I know I can sound like a broken record saying that, but it's more important than ever. This Empress energy running through this 8-year is just a lot. It's a crazy wild party in Ibiza, and you have to be ready for handling that kind of energy exchange. You're going to have to be ready for the movement, the ask from the universe to expand your capacity. I'll talk about this more in the podcast ahead, but you have limitless capacity, yes. You also have a material body that has to be malleable enough to expand to meet that capacity. So it's like we have limitless capacity, but we also have a finite being. And so to expand our capacity takes malleability, takes flexibility, takes adjustment, takes time. And the Empress in this 8 years is going to kind of push a ton of energy through our system and ask us to expand. And you get to do that the way you need to do that. I want you to think about what came up in February around hangover. I want you to think about what came up in February. Am I even having a good time, or do I just think I'm supposed to be having a good time? In March, ask yourself what really works for you. What feels like growth and creativity and pleasure and excitement to you? It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter what it looks like on paper. It doesn't matter. All the FOMO in the world won't matter if you are centered in yourself, if you can trust your own response to that question. Like, what do I need to feel good and growing and excited and alive? What is it? What do I need? It's a very personal question. It would behoove you to answer it in March. It would behoove you to know what lives inside that circle of good things for Kirsten. Like, where's my energy? Where do I want to be focused? Because you could just so easily scatter in March. It's a lot. It's a lot of energy, and it's a lot of accountability, and you got this. It's beautiful. I mean, again, it's beautiful, beautiful crossroads of these very different energies. The ember, the spark, the light that can get drawn out from this is pretty unique and pretty special, but it takes a grounded presence to notice that. It takes a grounded capacity to understand what needs to be burnt down and what needs to be built up. I want to make a little business announcement. This is the last time I'm going to do an extended monthly podcast. I'm going to shift the structure around this, as I've mentioned on some other podcasts. This is, for some reason, isn't working for me as a podcast episode. I think what I'm going to do is move it to a video format and have it be more interactive, and then have it be something you can listen to as the month goes by. I'm not sure exactly what form it will take, but I will say that April next month will mark the 1-year anniversary of this podcast, which to me is so cool. I love this. I love being with you, the community we've built and the conversations we've had. And for me, just the learning in all of this has been so rich, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm going to continue to do the weekly podcast. Those are just very almost effortless and very nurturing and nourishing to me. And I'm going to try to change the format around the monthly so I can still offer you that with your tarot scopes, but I'm going to do it in a way that feels more sustainable for me, because this is like the whole talk of this month. The whole question in this March month is, how do you do and offer and create from a place that actually feels sustainable, feels good, feels balanced, feels strong, feels grounded. And I gotta walk the walk, man. I can't just talk the talk. So that's just my little announcement of what's going to change for us in this month ahead. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the following podcast. I hope you take your time this month, because what I'll say is that, again, like, the beauty possible when you're willing to take your time this month is extraordinary. And you deserve that. I wish you so much luck in the month ahead, so much time and space to think clearly and see clearly, and to enjoy every beautiful moment that shows up at your door, every beautiful invitation that gets extended to you in the month ahead. So much love. Talk to you soon. Okay, everyone, it's March. Hey, it's happening. March is the third month of the year. It is Empress energy always. The Empress card is so beautiful. She is so beautiful. The Empress is the totality, the incubation, the integration of all four queens. It means it is the energy of holding our emotional body, our physical body, our mental body, our fire, our life source, our heat, holding all of that with equanimity, holding all of that with the full potential that that means, the full potential that that entails, the full potential that that implies. The Empress has it all together, and she is the key to generating life. She is the source of all things. She has the energy of incubation, the energy of bringing the things we find, the things we discover in that high priestess energy, bringing them into the world, gestating them, creating them, birthing them, feeding them, harvesting them, seeding them. Like, there's just all this energy around the Mother Earth, around Pachamama, all this energy around the generative Gaia, the Earth Mother in the most broad, spiritual, mystical, mythical sense. Also in terms of your own ability to create something new. 3 energy will always be about 1 meets 1, create something new. So there's the 1 and the 2 and the balance, and that's interesting, right? Like, I come and here I am, and I am the Aries energy of I am here, and that is enough. And then I meet someone, we look at each other and say, hey, this me, that's you. What does it even mean for me to see you and reflect myself in you, but also hold that you are your own unique being? And then let's get together and create something new. There's obviously the sexual metaphor of 2 energies coming together to create a third new thing, but broaden that metaphor, like, get really creative about that metaphor. All of the ways that you are bumping up into the world in a day to create something new. The way you alchemize raw ingredients into a beautiful meal, the way that you alchemize your work into something to sell or serve or offer, the way that you alchemize your conversations, your thoughts into words. Like, it's happening all around us. The Empress energy is really pure creation. And from the tarot standpoint, the magician has this sense of, I am a divine being here on earth. The high priestess is, yes, but I am deeply connected to something much larger than myself. I'm channeling information from someplace else, wherever that might be, to perceive and witness and experience the world. And then the Empress, number 3, March, is this idea of creating reality. Bring it here. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you can make. Let me see what it's like to feel the world. Oh, there's this adorable squirrel looking at me. To feel the world, to say, like, I got my nut. To feel the world and say, look what I have. Look what it feels like to be here, not just as the spiritual, mystical, magical being, but as an embodied being. So much about this March energy is going to be reflective and illustrative around this 8 energy that we've been talking about. So the 8, oh my God, the squirrel is my best friend for this reading. I love it. The 8 energy, like I've said, is really creativity around, as I see, I create. As I speak, I create. A realization, a deeper realization around how interesting it is to be this spiritual being in an embodied form. What it means to be embodied consciousness. The 8 is a fuller grasp around your power in that arena, around how cool it is, just how cool it is, how there are limitations, but also there are really no limitations. And so much of our limitation is around our perception. And so the 8 is going to kind of keep pushing the boundaries of more, more, more. What else can you create? What else can we make real? What else can we manifest? 3 also holds this energy of more and more and more. The Empress is so abundant. It's literally limitless abundance, limitless creative possibility. Okay, so can you just hear it in my voice? It's a lot of energy. And so it's a doubling down. My advice, my counsel, challenge in this energy is going to be counterbalance. That is just a key phrase for 2024. The 8 year is already moving quickly. March, the 3 energy will feel, it's the idea of the shoot, the energy rushing up from the earth into the green shoot to create the plant, the tree, the flower. There's that vitality that's pushing up through the materiality. And that feels good and so vibrant, so full, so much. And a lot of our work, spiritually, self-development, actualization wise, is to allow more energy, the idea of Kundalini rising, right? To allow more energy, prepare our vessel, prepare our channel to allow more energy to come through. You're going to feel that edge in March. You're going to feel the edge of, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening. My awareness is spread into many, many dimensions. A ton of energy is moving through my body. A ton of activation around what I want to create and make and live in this lifetime. And then the 8 years, like, let's make it happen, make it happen, make it happen. Let's do more, let's do more, let's do more. And in March, maybe that's the pace you want to be moving at. Maybe you're built for that kind of speed. Maybe you are built for that kind of speed, and that kind of speed is going to feel really good to you. Maybe this would be me, you are excited by that. You're turned on by that. You feel kind of overstimulated by that, and you have to counterbalance. You have to figure out, okay, slow down, take breaths, take walks, get my sleep, make sure I'm eating, not running on like water and caffeine and hope. Like, what do I need to do to make this change sustainable, to make this increasing capacity sustainable? Okay, that will bring us to the Justice card, which is the 11 energy, which is also with us for this month. So you really want to think about this shoot, this like a new fresh shoot in the ground, coming up from the ground, and all this vitality, all the love and energy of Pachamama and Gaia are pushing up through the shoot, and the shoot is trying to expand its capacity, trying to keep up, and it's delicate, and you just want to have a sense of, okay, what do I need in this? And that's the energy of the Justice. The Justice is going to say, what are the parameters within which this needs to happen? Where is balance lacking? For all the excitement, I hear you, I'm sold, I'm excited for you too. And yet, what else? And yet, what do you need to make this possible, to make this a journey that you can last through? It's an interesting push-pull, and I have to say, when I first pulled these 2 cards, I was so excited because Empress is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I love her. I just have always found a lot of peace and excitement both in her energy. Probably most people do. It's like it's so like arms wide open and also endless color. And so it's exciting, and I've always loved that energy. And so when I was thinking about this, like, a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, so excited, Empress energy and Justice. That's interesting. We'll see some rebalancing energy. And then when I sat with the cards for the first time over a week ago, I actually felt quite overwhelmed. So I'll just say that to you as an awareness around how quickly this energy and how much this energy might be asking of us. And 2, a validation around this might be a lot. There's this sense, one of the words that came through, one of the images that came through in the first time I sat with this, and I've been sitting with it, is kind of this scorched earth energy. And I want you to think about that. And when you first hear that, you're like, what are you saying, Kirsten? And trust me, I had the same thought. Went to some of my lovely advisors and was like, why am I feeling this energy? It actually unnerved me a little bit. But I think what I kept seeing was like scorched earth and then the ember. I think that the call in March is going to really be for you to get serious, like really serious about where your attention needs to be. There's a lot calling you right now, calling to you, calling for you right now. And because there's so much like almost like loose energy, that's the way I would describe it, like a lot of potential energy floating around, like a lot of invitations to collaboration, both energetically and materially. And it might be exciting. Everyone's asking you to the dance, and it's like, oh my God, everybody wants to go to the dance with me, and I feel so good. And yet there's only one of you, and is that going to feel good to you? Like, feel the validation, feel the potential, feel the excitement. Yes, and yes, and yes. And then pause, like sit with it and really take stock of what is possible for you right now. Maybe it's the energy almost of like, I don't want to say no because I don't want to miss out. It's like kind of this intense FOMO vibe. And if you let that carry you away, if you kind of try to be in all the places, try to be all the things to all the people, it's going to burn you in a way. And I know that sounds harsh. And to be honest, when I don't even really want to share that because I don't want people to, I know a lot of my audience, I know a lot of you will worry. I don't think it's something to worry about. I think it's something to understand that you too have limitations. And this came up in last week's reading, like you need a lot less than you think you do. Feeling all of the sparkly, colorful, seductive excitement of the Empress, like really allow that to run through your body, to feel good, to feel exciting, to feel inspiring. And you don't have to say yes to every invitation. You only have to have one dance partner right now. You're not losing out by focusing. And that's the energy that the Justice wants to bring. And, it's just like this interesting journey for me, myself, sitting with these two cards, because I walked into it like, Empress, hey, there you are. I love you, baby. Let's get sexy. Let's get pleasurable. Let's get indulgent. Let's get generative. And I was kind of like, oh, hey, Justice, you're here too. But I don't feel it that way as I sat with it. As I sat with it, it feels like Justice is this incredible companion, an almost protective force in this. We talk about this a lot in Women's Circle when we work with animal cards. I really like people to take the animal cards that they are working with, the resource that they're cultivating with that animal, and I like them to take them with them. Like I'll say to people, imagine every room you walk in for the next week, elephant is with you. Or imagine every room you walk into for the next week, sea otter's with you. Like how does your energy change when this thing is with you? When you really have a broad and embodied sense of how you're not walking alone, how there's protectors and angels and ancestors and guardians and guides with you. And animals are kind of an easy one to work with because it's playful and it's fun, and you don't need to believe anything special to know that they're animals, that they have energy. I really feel the way Justice is this beautiful bodyguard. Justice is your Kevin Costner to your Whitney Houston. No, but Justice is with you. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to put my arm on my hand on the small of your back and go enjoy the party and go enjoy the dance and get wild and free. And also know that I'm here with you. I'm here watching you. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to make sure that you're getting enough water, that you take your shoes off when they start to hurt, that you aren't saying yes to all the dance partners, even if they don't feel good. It's interesting, this dance analogy keeps coming up, but I keep picturing it. That's the frenzied excitement. It also came up in, what card did that? Oh, the Three of Cups. Three of Cups, beautiful energy, happy energy. Challenge around that energy is to get caught up in the frenzy, is to just get caught up in the moment and lose sight of what you really need and what's really good for you. That there's a little bit of that here as well. And so, like I said, when I first showed up at this March party, I was like, Empress, let's party, let's dance. And I was like, Justice, it's cool, you can come, wah, wah, wah. But now it's like, no, I'm here with Justice and I'm going to enjoy myself knowing that I really do want to prioritize balance. I really do want to prioritize doing this in a way that feels good to me. As you journey through that thought experiment that I'm offering you in this, you can see how it begins to turn a corner. And the corner it begins to turn is, what is it like to really take care of me? What do I enjoy? And that sounds so obvious. Kirsten, I know what I enjoy. I know I like to wear sequins and dance the disco. Okay, do you? Perfect. Sometimes you just show up and they're line dancing, and so you start line dancing, and then you're like, I don't even really like line dancing, but everyone else is doing it. Everyone else seems to be having a good time. Or I grew up in a place where line dancing was the thing, so I've always felt a little weird about liking disco. I don't know why I'm doing this dance thing, but just track with me here. There's something about turning this corner into, wait a second, what is true for me right now in terms of what feels good? Remember how a few years ago there was like that FOMO thing, and then right behind that there was the JOMO thing, like the joy of missing out, fear of missing out, and joy of missing out. And this sense of sometimes it's okay to not want to be in the center of the party. Sometimes it's okay to step back and take care of yourself, whatever that means. Something about that is very activated right now. Like there's a way in which the Empress energy, the 8 energy, the 3 energy, you could get carried away. It could be this sense of like looking at, well, for me, for example, I'm very clear on what I'm trying to do with my work. I have this very clear path that I've worked hard and asked for help with and, gathered resources around so I can walk this very clear path. There are other things calling my attention all the time. There are other things like, well, you could do this, and wouldn't it be fun to do this? And what about this person? And how is it? There's so much begging for my attention. The line I have to walk is, what is expansiveness that feels right on, that feels harmonious, that feels like here's a moment and it's a beautiful moment, walk through that doorway. And what are the things that just kind of send me into a type of systemic overdrive or systemic hypervigilance or a systemic FOMO, like what if I miss the boat? That's a tricky place to navigate. I also feel it with my children. All 3 of my children are in very interesting transitions. And I keep saying to them, I was like, I'm doing the best I can where I'm trying to walk this line of seeing more broadly than you do in this moment and wanting to set you up for success in a kind of longer framework. And also knowing that my job right now is to let you take the wheel sometimes. And so it's this push-pull, this balancing act, Justice, this balancing act of, I know where to push you, but I also have to appreciate that sometimes you growing up is saying, I don't want to be pushed here. And even if I see you missing an opportunity, or even if I see that that might be a harder road, it's also my job to let you make your own choices that way. And yet, I can't let you make your own choices in that way so much that I let you kind of jump off the cliff. And so there's this like push-pull, right? Between how much do I push and how much do I let you discover? Same thing for work. How much do I push and how much do I expand and how much do I just stick with what I know, stick with where I want to go romantically, right? How much do you cultivate and lean into devotion and adoration around your partnership, and also know when to pull back and take care of yourself and manage your own experiences and make sure that you're able to show up fully resourced for your partner. A lot of negotiation in life, right? I mean, you could probably name 17 different things, but it's all about this new line we're creating, this new sense of, what do I even want to do? And I would say to you that there's some way that this 8 year is really inviting you into a new chapter. And I've said it to you before, 2022, I feel like you kind of began to see what that lane might look like. 2023, the world was like, all right, let me prep you for that. Let's boot camp this up. Let's get your life shaped up so that you can actually step into that new chapter. And here's the chapter. And it's interesting to think about, what are your assumptions about what it was supposed to be like versus what you actually want it to be like. One of the classic ones I have with work is, I have all these things I want to do and offer the world. Like, I love my work and I want to make people feel more empowered and feel more brave and feel more pleasure. And like, I want that. I want to offer that with every fiber of my being. I also want to live in a way that doesn't, center on burnout. And so I'm constantly trying to negotiate that and figure that out. And right now I'm leaning into the edge of working a little bit harder, maybe pushing a little bit harder, knowing that I'm trying to set in place structures that can allow more ease in the future. Interesting, right? Like, you have your example of that. How are you trying to reset the boundary line around what you need? Cass Phelps, one of my teachers I've talked to you about, who I love, one of the first things he has you do when you go into class with him or you go into work with him is you really work on your container. What is allowed in my space right now? What am I trying to accomplish, and what is allowed in that space with me? And you do a lot of exercises around that. It's an incredibly powerful thing to do. Who's allowed here with me? What's allowed here with me? It makes your no much easier. It makes your yes more enthusiastic. And it's an important thing to think about when right now we're in this ever expanding moment of Empress and the 8 energy, where it's like, you want more, you want more, you want more. Maybe I do. And maybe I want to be more in what I choose to be in. So maybe it's not about collecting more stuff and collecting more dance partners. Maybe it's about fully feeling the dance partners that's in front of me, feeling their energy and their body and their movements and the texture of their clothes. And like, that's the more, maybe that's the more I should be seeking versus the more like, let me grab all the things. So even as I share this with you, I mean, I can just feel how much energy it is. And I would encourage you to ground yourself, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that means to you. The Empress is always going to call you towards art. She's always going to call you towards creating something new. She's always going to call you towards abundance, truly. And Justice is here to say, but what is that like for you? Really quiet down as much as you can what the world is telling you abundance looks like, what the world is telling you more looks like, what the world is telling you success looks like. Because Justice is, you do have limitations. You might be able to ever expand your capacity. Those limitations might be incredibly malleable, incredibly flexible, incredibly adaptable, but they are limitations. What do you want to do with the time you have? That's really the question of Justice and the Emperor, like Justice and the Empress. Yeah, Justice and the Emperor, that'd be a whole other story. Justice and the Empress. She's like, let's dance, let's dance, let's dance. And he's like, 1 minute, baby, have a drink of water. And that's the push-pull in March. I want to come back to the scorched earth thing because I know that people are like, we're going to be like, what are you saying, Kirsten? I don't see it as a negative. I see it as evolution point where the image I actually see is like earth that's been burnt down. And then I see a hand in the middle of it and I see an ember. There's something about creating something new from what has not worked in the past. There's something about creating something new from something that maybe feels like it's been destroyed or maybe feels like it doesn't have any life left in it. I don't know how else to explain that. It feels like maybe there's some story or there's some like package you wrapped up and you were like, that's complete. And something about March energy is like, we're just going to open that back up again. There's something about that that's not complete. There's something about that not only is not complete, but it's the spark you're looking for. It's like the ember that really wants to call your attention. There's a lot of heat and potential in there. So I give that to you as a way of saying, the phoenix energy of nothing truly ever dies. Energy, never really goes away. It's just changing form. Really think about your own energy, your own capacity this month, and I guess think seriously about what brings you pleasure. Think seriously about where your pleasure lies, where your satisfaction lies, where your heart longs to be. And that can be a tricky question. If you're not feeling centered in your body and you're not feeling safe in your body and you're not feeling like you have the hand of justice on your back or your shoulder, it can feel like you just get carried away. What you think you want can be anxiety or trauma or your mind trying to find stasis, trying to find balance in a very overwhelming and unbalanced time. And so you just want to take your time, really take your time, come back to that counterbalance that will be with us the entire year. That idea of counterbalance, that idea of your own pacing, that idea of what you need is going to be with you all year long. If you need extra time to sit with that, please give that to yourself. Demand that of yourself. Realize you're worthy of that. Take your time with your decisions. Let the energy move through you in a way, again, where you feel wider than the moment and wider than your body. And so you can sit through and say, I feel this impulse coming through. And like I said, if you spend the time to say what is here with me and what's in this with me and what's not in this with me, and you prioritize what's in this with you, it might be a much easier question to say, am I doing this for the right reasons? Is this propelling me where I want to go? You really, the same way that you need a lot less than you think, we really don't appreciate what we have when we have it. And it is part of the human condition. Classic example, you get sick, right? You get a bad cold or a stomach flu or, God forbid, something worse. And you're like, oh shit, it was really nice when I could take a walk when I wanted to. It was really nice when I could eat whatever I felt like eating. It was really nice when I could get a good night's sleep. When those fundamental things are taken from you, you realize life is good. Life is good. There is always something to appreciate about the moment you're in. And in this Empress 8 energy, it can all just be like a headlong rushing. And Justice is really here in the most beautiful Kevin Costner bodyguard kind of way to say, take your time, to say there's something just and good about feeling beyond the rush of excitement that is March, The Empress is a beautiful medicine. She's a beautiful and important archetype for all women to, and all beings, but particularly women, to embrace. And she's not the whole thing. Like, she needs to be balanced as well. The idea of nature, right? Nature is wild. Nature is wild. Mother Earth, she is a wild woman. Beautiful and worthy of our respect and devotion and, wide-eyed amazement. But she's no joke either. And she has a great destructive ability. It can be sometimes that we need that. It can be that impulse to destroy, this is where that scorched earth thing comes back. That impulse to destroy can be right on. It can be sometimes that the land needs to get cleared. And so if there's some way in your life that that's showing up, please get support around that. Please find teachers or guides or communities that support you in doing that in a way that is rebuildable. But the point of this is that sometimes we need that destructive force is the love we need, is the life force that we need. Justice is just very present here in asking you to pause before you make those decisions. If the impulse to destroy something, to clarify something, to clear something away comes and it's right, it won't go away. So if you pause, you're not going to miss the boat. The things that need to get cleared away will get cleared away. At the same time, sometimes we think if we clear it away, it'll be better then, and sometimes it won't be. Sometimes it is the slow road that gets us exactly where we want to go. I hope this is all coming through very clearly because it's a ton of energy. I think I have good capacity for energy and for emotion and for feeling and for channeling. I work really hard at that, and I know that I have many more steps to take in that journey. And I love it, but I have good capacity and I feel very easily overwhelmed by this energy. So I just say that to validate, like, you might need to take your time. You might need to take a couple deep breaths. You might need a vacation. The last thing I'll say is that March should be very busy socially. There should be a lot of energy coming in and out of your field. What do you need to do to be able to enjoy that? I know me, like, I need my sleep. I need to take a break. I need to have quiet or I can't enjoy being out in the world. And I know I'm a crazy hermit and an introvert and all the things, but you probably have some aspect of that as well. It could be, obviously it's going to be different, but it's probably just as true for you. And so this month is a great time to get to know that. What do I need to do to show up fully? What do I need to do to show up fully for my children, for my work, for my love, for my friends, for my communities, for my adventures, for the world? What do I need to do to show up fully? That's what's happening. So the Empress is this wild party that you've been invited to. What do you need to do to show up and enjoy it? And enjoy it in a way that without the hangover. Remember the hangover that kept coming up last month? Like the energetic or physical or material hangover of I just got carried away. And then also the Empress is here to be like, sometimes we get hungover. Sometimes we get carried away. Sometimes we just try to do too much. And that's all right too. I'm just going to say to you as clearly as possible, the Empress wants you to feel good. Her capacity for feeling good is limitless. Her capacity for creating new is limitless. The 8 energy is asking you to expand your capacity for what you have, hold, and create in the real world. Those 2 energies together are a mighty invitation, a beautiful invitation. You, if you would like to, can create incredible art this month, incredible ideas this month, incredible beauty this month. This is a month that I would imagine if you were trying to conceive a child, that energy would be very much with you. If you want to have great sex, that energy is very much with you. If you want to go lay in a river and just feel every inch of your skin vibrating with life, this is a great time to do that. I don't think it's a great time for drugs or alcohol or other activities that might leave you depleted. And I would be really careful about that this month. Justice is really here, not as this hard daddy of judgment, but more as this soft hand of guidance. And it really wants you to think about, yes, I feel how excited you are now, but let's also keep the bigger picture in mind. It's what I was just saying about my children. Or you can think about like a toddler. When a toddler, you watch them at like a park or a party, and at first they're just having the best time. And then you see them kind of turn that corner. Oh, that's probably not going to end well. Or like they're still having a good time, but it's like a grit your jaw, losing my mind having a good time. and you stop them and they don't want to stop, but you know that they need a drink of water, and you know they need to just take a breath, and you know they might need to step outside. You don't want to take them away from the fun. Like, you get that. You get the like living the Vida Loca life, but at the same time, you know that it's going to crash if you don't pause. And that really is the energy of March. There's a lot on offer. There's a lot of energy. You have the right to do what you want. Like, you have the right to do this in a way that you want to do this. And I would really encourage you to take the time to think about what's here with me. What am I prioritizing? Let me widen into the experience of what I'm prioritizing versus gathering new experiences. I think that's probably the simplest way I could say it. Empress feels good. Justice feels clear. And so any way that we can bring clarity and clear-eyed sight to our pleasure, clear-eyed sight to our creative ability, that's a beautiful potential. You wield these two energies, you work with these two energies in a way that honors both of them. Some really beautiful things could get created this month. There's just a lot here. A lot here, meaning it can go really well, and a lot here, meaning it can get overwhelming. Take care of yourself, take your time, enjoy, squeeze all the juice out of it. Like, squeeze out all the juice out of what does feel good. Prepare yourself for entering environments where it might get out of control quickly. Be really mindful about what you choose to give your energy to. Your energy is so precious, limitless, but also delicate. You want to be really thoughtful this month about what you align yourself with and to. The Empress is so seductive, dude. She's so seductive. You decide for yourself what feels good. Do you want to just be seduced by this? Maybe that's okay. And if you want to step off the dance floor and get a cold drink of water, that's okay too. There's going to be time for both, time for all of it. March is going to move quickly, but be an incredibly expansive month. And so it might feel like you cover a lot of ground this month. May you do so in a way that feels good to you, you know? You have all the right to do this just the way you need to. All right, let's see what happens. I love you guys. I'm with you, and I'm living this with you. In this moment, I can feel it. In my day-to-day, I can feel it. There's just a lot bubbling up, and I have to be really mindful to take the time I need. I have to be really mindful to do this in a way that works for me. And I offer you the possibility that you have full permission to do the same. Okay, happy March, happy spring, happy exuberant dance party. May you go enjoy every song that you are called to dance to, and may you know that there is a lovely bodyguard willing and able and ready to care for you and take you home when you've had enough. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.